Before the review for Wrath of the Druids itself, there are a few things I would like to cover first. This review was originally intended to be released in January of this year, but unfortunately this reviewer ran into some serious technical issues with Assassin's Creed Valhalla after completing the main storyline of the base game and the review. The first issue that was encountered was concerned with medallions that you can collect from taking down members of the Order. It was impossible to hand in the last batch of medallions to Hytham in the settlement, which then gives the player the opportunity to gain an exclusive weapon. Even more baffling is that the final epilogue of the game was supposed to be locked behind this final collection of medallions, but this reviewer had already experienced that ending on his first playthrough. As became apparent, many players had suffered the same issue, despite it reportedly being fixed in an earlier patch. After reinstalling the game, this player deliberately did not hand in any medallions to Hytham until after the ending involving Sigurd. This worked, but then, after having finished all of the content in Wrath of the Druids, another game-breaking issue was unearthed while attempting to finish a quest line involving a wedding. The quest was clearly broken and no amount of tinkering would fix it. This has led to a third complete reinstall and the start of a third complete playthrough, before embarking onto the Siege of Paris expansion. The game now has a new file structure and several new patches which should have resolved these issues. Of course, this will be covered in the review of the Siege of Paris. Despite these issues though, this reviewer still stands by what was stated in the original review. More positively, Ubisoft continues to support their titles long after release. It has been impressive to see Assassin's Creed Odyssey gain a substantial and fun-free expansion, and the crossover event between Odyssey and Valhalla is an inspired idea. In Valhalla, a whole new area, the Island of Skye, is open to players to explore, while they uncover the reason that a certain Greek demigod walks amongst them. Aside from this, there are also seasonal events in Valhalla, such as the Yule Festival that occurred from December 2021 to January 2022. It was a fun addition, and seeing the settlement covered in snow was quite beautiful. And so to the first expansion for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the Wrath of Druids. Having watched some preview videos from Ubisoft about the release, it left an impression that it would have a very dark, dank and gloomy atmosphere, full of fog and sinewy forests. Although there are certainly areas like that in the new area of Ireland to explore, there is so much more to see and discover. The recreation of ancient Ireland is both gloriously scenic and beautiful to behold. It has a distinctive Celtic personality that sets it aside from England. Once again, the environmental artists have delivered brilliantly, and once again this reviewer relished exploring this new landscape. The expansion is certainly a sizable one. There are 3 distinct zones to explore, and although they do not have as many features as some of the more densely saturated areas of England, there are still plenty of things to do and explore. In addition, the expansion introduces trade posts, which are akin to mini settlements. Not only do players have to acquire resources to build them up, but they first must unlock them by finding permits. It's a great twist on the idea of building up the main settlement. The reason to adventure to Ireland may initially be a fairly thin one, in that it actually revolves around a relative of Eivor's who, of course, up to this point we know next to nothing about. However, once you have landed in Ireland, the main storyline proves to be intriguing and interesting, merging both the historical past and the mythology of Ireland. It is made all the more intriguing by excellent voice acting by the whole cast, Julie Fowlis as Chiara being particularly notable. One of the highlights of the expansion is easily the soundtrack by Max Arouge, Julie, Chiara Fowlis and Ina Selvik, a mystifying, mesmerising meeting of transient synth moods and Celtic folk acoustic work. It really ensures that separation from the player's experience in England. Wrath of the Druids is a wonderful expansion for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, With a delicious Celtic edge, it creates a highly enjoyable and immersive experience which will keep players entertained for quite some time.